In the last video, we had drawn out this side plane with the correct boundary lines, the offsets as per the Town and Country Planning Handbook and the Building Code of Fiji, along with the dimensions and the boundary pegs. In this video tutorial, we will try to complete this entire side plane so that it looks something like this. Now this is another side plane, but I have included in this exercise for your understanding as to what is actually happening here. So let's begin. Okay, the first thing that you need to do here is to bring in your flow plane. So for that, this is the reason why we had drawn the flow plane in the first place, so that when we have to draw our side plane, we can just do it one go easily. So we'll take our flow plane, we'll copy our flow plane and we'll paste it here. Then we'll ungroup this, because I like to keep everything in check, and I'll remove everything that is not important, which should not actually be shown in the side plane. Those are your grids and your other texts, and I'll only keep the ones that are important. That's it. So just remove all these unnecessary furnitures and the blocks. But you can leave the tiles, and you can also delete these finishing markers. And delete all the rest of the other things that are not important, such as your doors. You can leave the shower fall and the other things because those are important. This is what this is the plan that is going to show where you're going to drain out all your shower and other wastes. You can remove these things. You can also remove all the blocks because these are unnecessary in a side plan. Or you can create separate layers for everyone. Let's say you can say side plane joinery, and you can just turn off your side plane joinery. So this will not turn off other things. Right. So for this case, I'll remove the floor tiles, but it's completely up to you. If you don't wish to remove it, you don't have to. And I'll remove these texts as well. And the rear porch, and the doors and the other things. Now we'll select all the text that we have to include in this side plane, and remember that it's being drawn to a scale of 1:200. So you'll have to reflect all these texts to the scale of 1:200. Now if you have missed out any of these texts, you don't need to worry, because these will not show up as they are at a different scale. They are currently at a scale of 1:80. So if you plot to a 1:200 in annotative, you do not have to worry about any other scales. They'll just switch off automatically. But for this case, I would remove everything that is unnecessary, and I've deleted them as well. So now that you can see that all the text size have increased, you can readjust all of these. Like so, and you can reposition the kitchen, or you can leave it as it is. And I'll also delete these two unnecessary texts. Now what we will do is we'll draw an outline of the roof, because we will also have to show our roof and roof drainage as well. So we'll activate our roof layer like so, and our roof line will be hidden. So we'll just simply draw a rectangle We'll draw two rectangles actually, and we'll just offset them. I usually like to use a distance of 600 mm offset, because this one you can also use a sheet of board and divide it into two, so you get 4.8 meters of eave cladding as well. So you don't have to cut and waste that much piece of board. Every measurement that I take in my drawings are conservative of the materials, and they are slightly less expensive than the standard ones. So the next thing that we can do is use a polyline and just draw an outline of the lower roof and offset it to the distance of 600 mm. Press enter like so, and delete the inner reference line. So now you have your roofing outline there. What we can do is we'll draw the gutters on it. Now I had stated in the earlier videos that I always like to use lean-to roof, and because gables are a long procedure anyway, they require truss and everything. Lean-to does not require that many structural members, and it's quite cheap to build and easy on the client's pocket. So what I will do is I'll add all my gutters to this side where the washrooms are, so that my kitchen sides do not have any unnecessary pipes, and they will look neat and tidy as well. And for the front porch, what I'll do is I'll add gutters to the front. So I'll just type in Excel and press enter. And I'll offset it to a distance of 150 mm, because I'm using 150 by 150 mm square line collarbone gutters. You can use whatever you think is right. You can use PVC gutters. You can use, maybe even if you don't want gutters, you don't need to place them, but gutters save so much of your work. Because if water drips freely onto the earth, it will start to dig a hole in there, and that's not a good look for your land. So one of the gutters will be draining out that side, and we can just copy this rectangle, press enter, and then just put it there, click on the rectangle and rotate it like so. Then what we'll do is we'll just go up and grab the middle hotspot or the hot grip and just bring it up over here like so. Then we'll select both of our lines, both of our gutter outlines, and just change their layers to gutter. Like so. Now what I usually like to do is keep the downpipes to the edge of the building and not too far inwards. So I actually draw my X line as a reference. I just have to draw one here, and then I type C for circle and then press enter. Then what I do is enter a radius of 50 mm, or you can say 35 mm if you're using a 70 or 75 mm cutter, and then just move this into place. Like so. Now I don't have to repeat the step again. I just have to click on this, type MI for mirror. Then I'll just mirror it to the other side like so. Similarly, what I can do is copy this, paste it here, and move it out to a distance of 750 mm. Press enter. Remember, I moved it with a distance so that it stays in line with this porch. If there's a column there, it will stay in line with that column. Now what I will do is I'll simply group this, G for group, then press enter, and then I will paste this into the building area. Now what I'll do, I'll just move this one. Since it's group, I just have to select one position, click over here, then click over here, so that is our front elevation. Now that is why I removed all the gutters from the front, so it looks neat and tidy. Then I'll just rotate it to this line using a reference method. So to rotate using a reference, you type RO for rotate, then press enter. Then you type R for reference, Then you select your bottom point where it's going to pivot, and you select the other point that you're going to reference, like so. And then you just put it like so. Now, if you feel that your building line is way too off, what you can do is simply move this one in so that the roof is also in line. And similarly, you can do the same for this, like so. Now that that is done, I have drawn out all my inspection chambers accordingly, the soak pit and the septic tank. So what I'll do is I'll just simply copy all these and paste them there. The minimum clearance of a septic tank from a residential property should be 3.6 meters. Let me explain what I'm saying. You take your X line, then you take the outline of your building. Then you offset it by 3.6 meters or 3600 mm, and you can place it there. But for better use, like so that I don't have any stink in the house, what I did, I just moved it out backwards. I know it's a bit long, at a long distance, but the stink will not be actually coming here. And we can also, if there is any bailout, so the smell does not come into the house. Now what I'll do is I'll start with the plumbing. So the first plumbing that I will do is for the sinks. All right. Now for the sink, I haven't placed a sink here. Let me just bring a sink and place it there. Yes, I did not place a sink there. If I'm copying something from anywhere, I'm not really that careful, or I don't really worry about anything. I just like to copy everything together and then I start deleting, like so. And I just to make it look realistic, I like to put a watercolor there and just send these things to the back, like so. Then I just group them and move them into the desired location. And change the orientation. Now, if you do not wish to make your building in line with the boundary setbacks, you can also make your building straight. Just try to keep them inwards from the boundary line. Let me just show you what I mean. So you take your X line and you make a straight line. Then you select your building that you have grouped. Using the rotate for reference, rotate with reference, type RO, then select, then type R and press enter. Click over here, and bring it to the line so that it looks straight and parallel. There you go. Just make sure that this wall is actually a bit inward from there. Now what we'll do is we'll move this into place, move the sink into place, and we can center it with the window. If you do not like the orientation of the texts, you can just rotate them. So in this case, I'll leave it as they are. Don't really have to worry. I just have to show a proper drainage from here to the septic soak pit or to the septic tank. Now, as I had stated in the legend, I will be using a 40 mm diameter PVC waste pipe from the sink to the gully trap, and then from the gully trap we'll take it to the soaker pit. So I'll put a gully in front here. Yes, I can, or I can just insert a floor gully in here, and from there I can take it to the soak pit. So what I'll do is I'll incorporate a floor gully over here. So we'll just denote that by saying FG. So simply copy this and we'll say it's F dot G. That's floor grating, floor gully. Now if you do not like it to be straight, what I like to do is I just like to keep these at an italic. And if these texts are too big, you can just resize them to a different size, as I've done here. Or you can just select the text and type a smaller distance. Don't forget to lock this off. And then you can just place a circle there. I'll use a 100 diameter gully, two-way gully. So you can use a radius of 50 mm. Now all the water will come into that gully and then pass by. And similarly, we can do the same for this one. And we can take out all the water like so. So we'll activate our layer. Now I was using another drawing, so mine has been changed to 50 mm. So I can just simply double click on this. Or I can just rename the layer to 40 mm diameter pipe, waste pipe, PVC waste pipe. It is important to take your time while you are drafting to do these small things so that they make your work easier in the future. So we will now create a polyline which we will connect to the outlets of the sink. These two outlets to be connected to each other. Then it will go into a P-trap and it will head into the floor gully. Then from the floor gully it will go straight to the soak pit. And you can center your soak pit accordingly. So as you can see that you have done your first piece of plumbing work here. Now the next thing that we can do is simply take this outlet, put it into the floor gully, and then just connect it over here. Similarly, we can take this shower outlet from there and just bring it and connect it over there like so. So these are very thick lines, so you will be able to see them when you are actually doing some work. Now what I like to do next is just place a direction arrow which I think is of the right size. And then we can simply mirror this shape accordingly. If you think this triangle is too big, you can make it small. What I like to do is after mirroring, I like to create it like this, then join them together and just pull this circle out. Pull that triangle out. Then just simply place a hedge, a solid hedge in it. Any color will do, but for this case I'll just use a simple yellow, make it look dark and neat. Then I just group them together and move them into its place. This triangle actually tells the direction of the flow of the waste. Because some people are quite stupid, they don't understand what this is. If you think that your arrows are too big, you can just simply scale them down using a scale reference, and you can do that. Draw one and then fill the rest. So that shows your outlet of your waste. Now what we will do is we will use the other line, the 100 mm diameter waste pipe, but we'll refer to the table as to what we have used. So WC to IC, we'll be using a 100 mm diameter PVC waste pipe or a 4-inch PVC waste pipe. So we'll turn on our layer for that, and then we'll type PL, press enter. Then just simply take this from there. Oops, my apologies, wrong command. Connect this into the septic tank and straight into the what would you call this? Straight into the septic tank, yes. Through the IC and then into the septic tank. Now it's best to place an IC or an inspection chamber on a joint and then just trim off these lines, because they will continue, but you don't really have to show them to this detail because you have done the other detail. You'll be doing other details of it in the upcoming videos. Now, as I had said, that the IC will be required at every 6 meters, or the inspection chambers to be at every 6 meters. So I'll just make my offset of 6 meters. And I'll place my the inspection chambers accordingly. You can be smart here. You don't have to copy everything that I'm doing. You can do it your own way, but remember a pipe length is 6 meters, so I'm using 6 meter centers so that you get more use out of your pipes and you don't have to cut and throw them away. If you wish, you can have one right outside, but that's not really important. Now the next thing that we will create is the direction of flow for the gutters. And for that, what we will do is, that's not a very difficult thing to do. We'll just refer it to over here, and if we cannot find any, we'll just do our own from here. So we can just create another node. And just to bring that node to this cell, just click on this and bring it down like so. Then we'll say DP, that's down pipe, to VD, that's V drain. We can use a 75 mm diameter pipe because it's a small roof. PVC waste pipe, or you can say PVC, we'll just say PVC waste pipe. Now we will just create another layer or we can just rename one of the other layers. Simply clicking on layers property. Now this is my 75 mm diameter waste pipe here, so I'll just make it current by double clicking on this area. And then I'll draw my polyline. I'll just put one outlet because it's a very simple. It's a very simple guttering area. And from there, I'll pick up this. And then from there, straight to the nearest B drain. Like so. And you don't need to do that. Or you can just move this one slightly inwards. And then you can move this one slightly outwards so that you are not covering up any lines. Or you can use any other method that is simple for you. And we'll just copy and paste our arrows in there again so that people understand what you have drawn. And we can move these out or space them out accordingly. Now we can either place an arrow or we can put a multi-line text here which indicates what we are doing here and why. So we can say allow to drain out, or we can say discharge, allow to discharge all stormwater to nearest V drain or spoon drain or whichever drain that is being set by the council. Then we can select this and place them to our text layer. Sometimes you have to be careful not to mess around with your mouse because it will move your text or your drawings out into another place. So that is all for this video. In the next video, I will show you how we'll actually complete this, how I brought the other information into my this information into my drawing, the Google Maps image. It's actually very simple. I'll show you, but I'll still show you how to do it. And I'll also try to explain a little bit more about these areas and why I have placed them here. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.